it's just Islam is the mark of excellence in MMA. You know, you're talking about just a pro's pro who, even when weight cuts don't go right, he still finds ways to win. But for the most part, operates like a pro. You know, I think engages in trash talk without going insane. I'll put it that way, which I personally prefer. You know, everyone's going to be a little bit different, but I kind of prefer that. But just in terms of like excellence, you know, can he wrestle quite as well as Khabib? Maybe not, but pretty close. And he can strike a whole lot better. He has fought, you know, very, very tough guys. I didn't know how 170 was going to go, and then it's just been what it's been. You know, I just think very, very, very highly, not only of his ability and his well-roundedness and experience, but his ability to, you know, remain focused on the goal at all times. So many of these guys, they get fat out of camp, they get in trouble, they lose focus, they want to do something else, the fire dies. And these guys from Abdul Manap's camp, man, they just stay grounded and keep hammering and keep hammering. And that's why they keep winning. And Islam is, you know, one of the very best to ever do it. A remarkable fighter, and, you know, can go and do a numbered event in the Middle East, can do one in stateside, and I think that is a degree of its own kind of value. Hugely important for that organization and the sport generally.
To be perfectly honest with you, at first I wouldn't call anyone at all, because that is simply the sort of person I tend to be. That's just how I am. If someone tries to provoke me into a fight, I usually just don't go for it.
Is this a game? Is she famous already? And all the fighters are asked, here are 3 fighters, specifically UFC. This is an interesting question because I wonder who Charles will take with him.
Makhachev, Who? Makhachev.
The fighters are Islam Makhachev, Dustin Poirier, and also Ilia Topuria.
Yeah.
Every time we see each other, they treat me very well. These are 3 guys whom I respect a lot as fighters. And not just for what they do in the cage, but also for who they are outside of it. And
who is the best among these 3?
Out of these 3, Islam Makhachev.
Islam Makhachev?
Yes, Islam Makhachev. I think he is an exceptionally talented master and is currently working hard on improving his footwork. I think he is one of those who, in my opinion, has undergone the most significant transformation.
Right? Like, do you think he's
definitely one of the biggest stars?
Top 5, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. Wow. Who else would you put in that category with him?
Top stars?
Yeah.
I mean, John Jones is still around. You have O'Malley, Merab has done very well.
Islam?
And become a star. Islam, absolutely.
Do you think Armin's up there with all he's been doing with Nina and stuff?
Armin definitely is.
I feel like you can't go a day without seeing an Armin.
That guy's done a great job of getting out there and getting himself a lot of attention, and you know, a lot of needed drama work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Honestly, looking at the fight, I feel like Ian has a good chance to win. You know, just from yeah, that's my perspective. But I would just be looking from wanting to fight both those guys. So I'll just be looking as a spectator / competitor, as a skill for skill thing. I think Ian has a good shot.
As 2 stories walk onto stage, the lights pull tight in anticipation. Islam Makhachev with his patient craftsmanship, and on the other side, standing Ian Garry, who bet everything on timing and instinct. Experts and analysts in the field stitch together the tiny decisions that will ripple into victory or defeat. This is where technique becomes destiny.
Being held down for 25 minutes and just having a boring fight. He's a phenomenal wrestler, a phenomenal grappler. And if you allow him the ability to stay on top and utilize his grappling and his wrestling, he can suffocate you and just lie on you like a weighted blanket, and you just find it so hard to move. And I'm like, that's not fun for anyone. It's not fun for me. It shouldn't be fun for him, and it's definitely not fun for anyone watching. So I feel like, and he did that, he did exactly that to win the world title fight. And I feel like that's the worst case scenario.
Do you like him in this fight with Ian? What's the Kalshi trading market here? 72% for Islam Makhachev to win. Ian Garry just 28%. Do you like Ian's path to victory better than that? And if so, what do you think it would be?
Yeah, no, I think it's a tough fight for Ian, but he's also a different type of test for Makhachev. I think the odds should be a little bit closer just because he's really tall. He's not afraid to have a boring fight. Like he will move on you nonstop. He's a little hard to take down. So If he keeps it standing, I think we got an exciting fight. So it's an interesting fight. I think it should be a little bit closer than that.
Do you think Ian is a good choice to test Islam, who will be going for his 17th straight UFC win, trying to break Anderson Silva's record, which he's currently tied with?
Oh wow, yeah, that's wow. I think it's gonna be a good fight. Jan Garry, it's definitely a tough opponent, very good striker. But Islam once again his goal gonna be to bring the fight to the ground, and I think if he's able to do that, he's gonna have an edge. If Jan Garry is able to keep it on the feet, and Jan gonna have an edge, so it's gonna be interesting. Islam has the edge in terms of skills, because he's more well-rounded. He can do it all. And he, especially with his grappling, he's got an edge in that department. And I think that's what he's gonna try to go for. Maybe he will eventually go up in the middleweight and try to go the 3-weight class club.
He's a special type of athlete, as we all know. He's one of those guys that are at the pinnacle of this sport here. I talk with Javier all the time, and Islam and those guys are always doing great, so they're in great hands. Javier is the one who builds champions. He's a master at what he does. So he's always with those guys. He's always with Islam, and so I know they're in great hands. They're getting exactly what they need as far as the fighting goes, the training goes, all that. So I see Islam just continuously doing what he's doing, and that's winning impressively. He's somebody who's mastered all aspects of MMA.
The common thread is clear. If Makhachev gets the fight to the mat, his control and submission can threaten to take over, while Garry's best plan comes from keeping the distance and forcing a striking battle. Predictions hinge on the initial rounds. Some see Makhachev's pressure as the deciding factor, while others believe Garry's movement and reach could make a live upset if he can stay upright and manage the space.
I mean, I'll say this. I think this Garry fight is very interesting. I have the feeling that the hardest thing to do in MMA, one of the hardest things is to jump up weight class and then go have a great night and capture another weight class's belt. But really the hardest thing is just to defend it over time. That is the hardest thing, is just to win a bunch of fights, even if it's not against the premier guy a division up, and it's like a sort of like a, some people might assume run-of-the-mill contender. I don't think Garry's quite run-of-the-mill, but you know what I mean. And I have found over time that these are actually the fights that end up being the ones that you should pay the most attention to. Garry is very, very tough, and defensively very sound. The reason why I can't pick against him is because Islam is so offensively good everywhere. It's hard for me to see that he can't find a way, at a bare minimum, to just neutralize Garry en route to a win.
Right off the bat, Luke Thomas sees this as one of the toughest tests in MMA. A dangerous jump in weight and a title defense are both challenging, but to stay a champion is a much harder feat to accomplish. While Garry is certainly a sound opponent, Islam still earns favor given his offensive depth overall. For Thomas, Garry may make the opening rounds competitive, yet Makhachev should eventually find a way to neutralize him and win, even before it takes a finish.
A big thing now is literally starting with this fight, you can promote every Islam Makhachev fight as historic beyond measure, given this winning streak. I mean,
that's right.
Tied with Anderson Silva, you could say this is a fighter who's never done anything beyond this point like it is. It's a huge feather in the cap. I know I've had people like Chael Sonnen on the show who like completely shit on Islam's, image as a draw. We have, 8 to 10 years now of data on this guy, seeing the numbers that he brings us both on social and website and like YouTube, all these platforms that we have on MMA Junkie. Like he's up there with everyone, especially given the consistency and all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, how can you not put this man who is on the cusp of breaking, which I think on one of the first episodes of the show I named with Michael Carroll as the UFC's most unbreakable record of 16 straight wins by Anderson Silva, just because it's like all these things that happen. Tom Aspinall, you got poked in the eye, fight's over. Conor McGregor, you blow out your knee on the first kick, fight's over. You get a bad judge, you get a referee mistake, you get all the bad weight cut, all these things that can happen to you, to go and have this happen consecutively, uninterrupted with the most controversial result, the first Volk fight, I guess. Like that's the closest one you could maybe say of any blemish on this resume. Like it's freaking unbelievable, man. Like he's on the cusp of doing what no one has ever done before, which is very hard to do in the sport in 2026.
Echoing off of Toma's take, Mike Bone agrees that Makhachev's greatness has moved beyond traditional hype and into historic territory. The matchup with Garry matters even more now, since it is being framed like a record-chasing champion on the brink of something rare, and that kind of consistency makes him impossible to ignore as a draw. In Bone's view, Makhachev's run is something that has never been attempted in the sport before.
And JDM was the top guy at the time. That one made sense. And Ian Garry is the top contender in my view. Like he's not ducking smoke at all. It just speaks to his willingness to take on the things that actually matter and do well.
Yeah, and I did this last week as well. I went through the UFC's top 15 pound for pound right now. Every single person in the top 15 on the male side has lost a fight in the last 5 years, except for Islam Makhachev.
Wow. I mean, he's special.
Yeah.
There's guys that are good, very good, and even the elite, and then special. He's special.
Yeah, truly. So I know you said you like him in this fight. What does the trading market have now? Kalshi, it's 71% for Islam, 29%.
I'd put Garry higher than that. I think it's closer to maybe 60-40, something like that, you know?
Yeah, I talked to Bilal Muhammad the other day, and he knows Islam well, but he fought Ian, and he's like, don't count this guy out, man. Like his game planning, his in-fight IQ, like all this stuff, he was giving him very legit praise there that, you know, the guy who just spent five rounds or 3 rounds, whatever it was in there with him.
Despite the awe for Makhachev, Bone also believes that Garry has to be viewed as a top-level threat and not just a routine challenger. His fighting IQ has earned respect from his past opponents. He also notes that Makhachev stands alone as the current pound-for-pound champion, which is why Islam is regarded as special rather than just elite. The market may be leaning towards Makhachev, but Garry being undervalued is a callous error.
I cannot wait to step into the octagon against Islam Makhachev and beat him, because there will be no doubt that I have done it against the best. To be the best, you have to beat the best. And my next opponent, right now, is regarded by everyone in the world as the #1 ranked pound-for-pound fighter on the planet. Make no excuses. There will be no doubt. After the fight, I just want it to be known that Ian Machado Garry is great.
Coming from the famed opponent himself, Garry wants his fight to be the proof, not the promise. His victory over Makhachev will solidify his place in the sport because he will have defeated the man recognized as the best in the world. There will be no room for anyone to question that Ian Garry is truly great. Diverging from the consensus, Chael Sonnen sees Garry as being far more dangerous than people give him credit for. Garry's confidence is not just talks, but part of how he builds himself up. However, Sonnen still stops short of fully picking Garry, framing him as a tough, awkward problem with solid defensive skills and enough ability to survive grappling exchanges that the can't wrestle and can be finished from the back narratives don't hold up to scrutiny. Building further on that, Sonnen seems to want Garry's approach to feel less like a one-shot gamble and more like a sustained psychological and tactical campaign. If Garry can take control of the fight from the jump, that alone makes the fight more interesting and more dangerous for his opponent. Garry will not lean on a single defensive trick because for him, the real value is in a steady, intelligent pressure that can create openings instead of just hoping for one. Additionally, Sonnen believes that Garry needs more than confidence or comparison to secure a victory. He needs a real, high-level weapon that can hold up for 25 minutes. He believes Garry absolutely can win, especially if he can stuff takedowns and keep a hard pace, because that would push Islam into areas he may not have had to show yet. Garry is trying to present himself as the kind of fighter who can do something historic, and if he truly has that version of himself on fight night, then the upset becomes possible. Strengthening the continuation, Bedtime MMA sees the matchup as the reason that Garry is Makhachev's toughest test, not the hype. Garry brings a rare blend of size, frame, and discipline, and he has the kind of style that can make a champion uncomfortable. This could be a technical, slow-burn fight where Garry's structure and discipline make him dangerous, but Islam's complete game keeps him favored. Charles Oliveira's red continues in favor of Makhachev due to his striking improving and his fight control becoming much more lethal. Islam has basically developed into a more complete problem. Even a fighter with Oliveira's own experience can see the champion as the one with the cleaner path to win. The core of his prediction is respect. Oliveira believes Islam has tightened up enough everywhere to stay ahead in a high-level matchup. This fight still feels like a matchup where every small detail could decide the outcome, and that's what makes it so compelling. With Islam Makhachev's control and finishing threat meeting Ian Garry's size, discipline, and growing confidence, the story is bigger than a simple title defense. It's a test of who can impose their identity when the pressure is highest. So now we turn to you. Who do you think comes out on top at UFC 330? Will Islam Makhachev continue his dominant reign, or can Ian Machado Garry pull off the biggest upset of his career? Share your prediction in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more UFC news, fight breakdowns, and updates.